This is Blackrock Depths Detention Block as a Fire Mage. So right, Blackrock Depths, carved up into two little tiny slices of its former self. The people in this party wanted to do a little bit more than just the minimum of what the Dungeon Finder decides you do here. Yeah, any chance we can do the Grim Guzzler. I have a quest there. So I was hoping the rest of the party would go along with this and do, like, more than people usually do here. Healer says sure. I don't think this tank talks. She's a quiet one. I am too. Everybody defers to her judgment. So yeah, we end up doing some stuff. I don't think we get as far as the Grim Guzzler, but this is a lot more thorough than the other runs I had here. So it's nice to see at least a little bit more of this place. So going down the front route instead of left through the gates to the big fire dude. There's that thing on the ground again. Still don't know what that is yet. I have some theories. There's a hunter ability called Tar Trap, which I think might be what that is. Puts a thing on the ground that slows down everything inside it. That would kind of match, right? I have a hunter now. I was messing around in the character creator because I knew I wanted to make one eventually, and ended up with a character whose appearance I liked. So I decided to just go ahead and make him, and I'm not planning to play him a whole lot, just working on getting him out of his starting zone and stuff. But I'm sure we'll be seeing that character eventually. Still kind of having the same feelings about Hunter as I had last time. It's like, it's okay, but I just don't really get what the big deal is. Just there are a lot of classes in this game that I feel like I'd rather play, but I don't know. I've never had a max level Hunter, never played one all that much. I feel like the one that I did play I didn't really take to a whole lot of dungeons. So, you know, wasn't seeing the meat of the game through that perspective. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a better perspective this time. And, you know, even if there are 11 other classes that I'd rather play, I still want to play this one and learn how it works and stuff. Get at least decent at it. But yeah, still trying not to spread myself too thin and be leveling like, 12 characters at the same time or anything. From what I've been reading, it seems like the per server character limit isn't a thing anymore. I haven't tested that by trying to fill out a whole lot of character slots on the same server or anything, but it sounds like it's not a problem to have one of each class on the same server now. The list will scroll, I guess. So that's nice. That other blue outline, I think, is some kind of healing rain or something, some kind of shaman healer thingy. So I try to stand in it whenever applicable. Yeah, I see 75, 76. I'm gaining healing when I'm in there. I don't remember that being a thing when I played a Restoration Shaman, but that was a long time ago. Also never had a max level one of those, but I enjoyed the playstyle a bit more than Hunter, at least. It seemed fun. So let's see, Lord Incendius, Phineas Darkfire, those are the two prescribed ones. Then you can do the Ring of the Law, High Interrogator Gashtan, Baelgar. Which one's Baelgar? Is he the dude that's way off to the left from the beginning? Might be. Or is he the other fierier fire elemental? I think we'll kill both of those, so I'll get to see. Oh man. That wolf made a really unhappy noise. I'm not used to hearing that. That was kind of unpleasant. So High Interrogator Gashtan is here. She's taken notice of us already. Get ready for fear. Because that's a thing she does. She is a priest and she uses Psychic Scream. I'm standing way too close. I'm totally going to get feared here. This is a bad idea. Looks like the warrior here was perhaps pulling her back in preparation for that fear so that people wouldn't run down to where there's more trouble to get into down there. I would assume that would be why that would happen. Why she would have done that. Looks like I am standing far enough back to not be within the Psychic Scream. That's nice. Not that time, though. Oh, somebody's in some kind of ice chains here. Man, these health bars just are not going down very fast. Probably partially because nobody has very good uptime since they keep getting feared. Oh boy, a new PvP talent is available. That's gonna bug me until I do something with it, isn't it? There is a much worse and more aggressive, why was I looking at my Fire Blast there? I wonder. Pop-up that comes up in the same place later when your Heart of Azeroth has an unused essence slot. It tells you about that every single time you change... Let's see, how is it? Every time I open the character menu, every time I transition between zones, every time I loot any money... Anyway, lots of events will cause that pop-up to come back up. And to get it to go away requires, like, multiple hours of quests to earn a thing, an essence to put in the slots. Heart of Azeroth is a latest expansion thing. Rainbow generator, huh? Anyway, yeah, so this game can be very aggressive when it wants you to do something, even when that thing is not immediately possible to do. Somebody's having fun with a toy. This is silly. Alright, so that was High Interrogator Gashtan. What's this part of the depths? Wait. He opens that door for you, or did we open that door? Okay, so right here, we're at the, so that thing kind of in front of and to the left of me with the big gear in the floor. You can interact with that to close the door. The giant door you go through after... Oh boy, how do I even describe this? There's a giant door you can get to if you take a left as soon as you go into the dungeon. Go through the hallway, then go right, and it leads to... I think that's where Lord Incendius is. But if you interact with that gear, it closes the door and also opens up a passage up above, here where we're heading. And that allows you into the later parts of the dungeon, like going toward the Grim Guzzler. So that would be where General Angerforge and Golem Lord Argolmach are, I think. They're in my 109th Division quest. Those are not included in Dungeon Finder routes for this, unfortunately, though, so you don't really see them much. See, I say that's unfortunate, but you know... to some extent, maybe it's for the best, just because people would get so lost if they weren't already super familiar with this place, because it is big and confusing, and... I don't know. being with a random group of 4 strangers is not always the best kind of environment to be learning which way to go in a place like this. But sometimes it is. This rogue's just having fun tanking her own fire guard there, separately from everybody else. Alright, well, she can do that if she wants, I guess. So we're not actually going that way. Oh yeah, this is a way into the Ring of the Law. Or it would be if that door were open. Well, can't go that way at this point. Ah, but we can go to the upper part of the Ring of the Law, right up here. This weird place that... There's not really much reason to be here, but there's a bunch of non-elite dungeon enemies you can fight. All the spectators in the Ring of the Law. Counterspell brings the caster to range of everybody else. Oh, I have a Curse of Tongues. Casts are slow. That's annoying. Ah, right, but... oh, right, I guess I haven't talked about this ability. I guess I probably didn't have it before. I can remove curses. So mages can decurse. Can't do anything about diseases, magic, or poisons. But I can get rid of curses. So that's nice. I get to do... It's not quite being a healer. Well, people are jumping off. I don't quite get to be a healer mage, but I get to at least do some things like that. Right, Lunar Festival is happening. There's the Dungeon Elder of this place. That's what it looks like to do that. And I get some fireworks that I can't use from where I am. Something has caused me to dance. I don't know what. I'm not sure why this is happening. Somebody has used a Piccolo of the Flaming Fire. Someone has used a something. Even while casting, apparently I'm still doing it. Huh. I think I can... Okay, I walked out of range of it, or it expired or something. I didn't really want to be dancing there. Doesn't affect much, it just looks kind of weird and distracting. Anyway, right, so Ring of the Law is happening. You talk to this dude, and he opens 2 passages in here, each of which have a thing to fight in them. Couple of waves of monsters come out. It's kind of like those collapsing walls in Gnomrigan, only way quicker and less annoying. Oh, by the way, my Fire Blast has 2 charges now. Oh, did I level up and that just happened? Yes, I did just level up and that happened. That was why I rolled over Fire Blast. Yeah, okay. So that happened mid-dungeon. So now, Fire Blast, my number 2 skill, gets to recharge to 2. Basically meaning that I get twice as many opportunities to... to turn heating up into hot streak whenever I land my first critical. So that's super great. That's a big upgrade into my ability to both just do damage in general and have like instant casts available to me. At some point I'll level up again and get a talent point. Must be a level 60 thing. Yeah, I guess that's at level 60, where I can actually give it 3 charges. So yeah, giving me pretty good abilities to start fires. There's nothing in here. That's just where the monsters came from. Yeah, so 2 hot streaks is way better than 1. 3 is a nice upgrade above 2, too. It looks like I have most of my core abilities at this point. Oh yeah, I did use the Rune of Power all the way on the right, my equal key. It summons a little thing on the ground that boosts my damage by, I think it's 20% for 10 seconds? Or is it 30%? 40%? It's one of those numbers. Again, 10 seconds is extremely short, so it's a little hard to use. It also has 2 charges. So it has a cast time. I have to sacrifice some cast time to summon the rune. Then, you know, try to maximize the number of casts I'm actually doing while it's up. And also need to do it at a time when I can actually hold still. It's a weird one. It is a talent that I opted into. There were other options I could have taken. But it's okay when I remember to use it. It's just a little bit weird and hard to use sometimes. Easy to waste, like if I'm forced to move out of the spot where I was standing when I cast it, or I don't know, other circumstances. I'm silenced for a moment and it expires. Good to use in conjunction with combustion, because then I'd get lots of pyroblasts while getting that 20, 30, 40% boost, whatever it is. Yeah, so at this point, with Rune of Power, Combustion, and 2, soon-to-be 3 Fire Blast charges, I do have most of my toolkit, and this is when I start feeling like Fire Mage really comes into its own. Because, you know, I was checking damage meters a little bit. Doesn't really make that much sense to try to be competitive on those while leveling, but, you know, I kind of like to know where I stand sometimes, just in case I'm severely underperforming and there are things I could do to boost my numbers. Yeah, once I got, like, those pieces of my toolkit, everything was great. I had no more worries about underperforming. Still haven't really taken an opportunity to give Frost a serious try, or Arcane, with this character. Been too busy with fire to do that. Lord Rockor, right. Boss here in the hallway. He just wanders around. You can find him and fight him. Not part of the dungeon goal, not even on the optional objectives, but he's a guy you can fight. Those bloodhounds are on me, that's not great. There we go. Much better. Yeah, so I can dish out the damage, but can't really take very much. Okay, there's Rune of Power. And there's a monster wasting it. 1.5 seconds of it at least. I also used Combustion. Yeah, alright. Other than that... Sure, in all caps. Other than that 1.5 second stun. There's another one. That was pretty optimally used, I think. Yeah, so Houndmaster, what's his name, is right next to us pretty much. Even if I'm fire-locked, I can still throw a bag of tricks. Boy, this dude's annoying. I wonder if I could avoid that stun if I stood a little bit farther away. Sure, I want to be there for Dragon's Breath, but, like, on single target, Dragon's Breath isn't really all that necessary to cast. It's fine. It might even be a slight damage boost over not casting it, but not nearly as much as if I'm... Because, like, one Dragon's Breath is instant and does, I think, about as much as one Fireball. Give or take a little bit. But yeah, where it really shines is on multi-target. Here we go. Skull and the dude. Somebody's found some things to fight. It's the rogue again. Yeah, this rogue seems to be, seems to get into trouble kind of a bit. Houndmaster Grebmar, that's his name. That was his bloodlust, not ours. We do have a shaman in the party, but I don't think a shaman gets bloodlust until a higher level than this. I'm not sure what level it is, but it's... I think it's over 60, somewhere. Oh, right, another thing that's happening. Right, another part of the Fire Mage toolkit. Every fireball now that fails to land a critical strike gives me a temporary buff that increases the critical strike of my chance of my next fireball by 10%, I think it is. So I can't just get unlucky forever. Eventually I will land a critical and be able to start a hot streak. So I have a lot of tools at this point for making sure I get those free pyroblasts, which is what I really want, or flame strikes, or whatever I want to spend them on. I don't think that was a talent thing or anything I had to opt into in any way. It just happens as I level up, I think? I want to say that's right. Okay, so I think that's most of the optional bosses we can do in this part of the depths. The outer ring around the Ring of the Law. Not anything down there, just lava. Don't jump in that. A lot of closed doors that we just can't open, apparently. There's no interaction icon over them. They are just permanently closed to us. What is this shaman wearing? Her equipment looks weird. She may have spent some time at the transmogrifier, setting that up. Whoops, that was a misfire. I did not mean to Dragon's Breath there, I would imagine, because I was nowhere near close enough for that to hit anything. I was probably going for Bag of Tricks. But I hit 7 instead of 8. Whoopsie. This warrior's hurting a bit. What's the shaman doing? Her mana's full. No, she didn't die. That's fine. I'm pretty sure we could have gone through a route that did not involve clearing all of these enemies here and still hit up the same bosses. This is a big ring that we're on that, you know, we could have just gone to the... killed Lord Rockor and Houndmaster Grebmar and turned around and gone back the way that was already clear. But, you know, when leveling, you want more experience, probably, so it doesn't hurt to kill extra stuff. Everybody's happy to just let the tank choose her own path through the dungeon and follow behind and do whatever. She's opting to try and avoid those. I'm keeping a close eye on them. Because not everybody is, yeah, sticking as close to the wall as she was. Alright, so we've managed to loop back around to here. The actual detention block. Dungeon entrance is just off to the left behind me. Right, okay, so this is the Dark Iron Highway. So to my right is that big door that I was talking about. You can close with the thing over there. To the left is... I don't think it's... Is that what... Yeah, okay, so Baelgar to the left, Incendius to the right, I think. So Baelgar's the optional one. Just at the end of the highway, nothing else there. You go there just to kill him, pretty much. These dudes, I remembered, the Envoyage officers in particular, like to interrupt, so I was keeping my distance. Had some problems with that when I was healing here. I do have to get in close for Dragon's Breath, but then I can back off after I'm... Whoa, oops. I guess I didn't have a good sense of how far my shimmer goes. I wanted to get right up in their face in Dragon's Breath there, but I teleported right through them. Looks like Envoyage Officer is one of those annoying, Oh. So he's a paladin with a paladin shield. Can't do anything to him until that thing expires. So a paladin that uses a gun, huh? Meaning you can't really move him unless, like, you're a Death Knight with Death Grip or something. Can't interrupt any hard casts on him to make him, like, not have any option other than to run up into melee. So yeah, any of those types are always kind of annoying when you want to position them carefully. But that's the tank's problem, not mine. Oh, where'd all these come from? We got some extra dudes. Maybe there was a runner who got away and found friends. It's kind of funny how these enemies' healing abilities just do almost nothing. They move their health bar just a slight bit, but not enough for it to really matter at all. They're not even worth a counterspell, pretty much. Unless I'm specifically trying to make them move to another position. Yeah, so that guy there must have been just standing there shooting his gun, refusing to engage with the rest of the big group. Yep, now he's shielded himself. Divine Shield, I think that's called. I was waiting for it to expire to use my Pyroblast. Well, I put my rune all the way back here. That's fine, just means I can't use Dragon's Breath until it expires if I want to get its benefits. Okay, now I can dragon. Apparently I'm not choosing to, though. That guy tried to find friends. He didn't manage it, though. Oh, was he hexed for a moment? I saw a toad icon. So yeah, that's a shaman thing. Basically works the same as polymorph, just you get a toad instead of a sheep. Right, Hunter's been doing the ice traps. What's up with this? Oh, I think that's a sunken temple thing, the little emerald dragon whelp that comes in and assists the warrior on occasion. Yeah, there's like a trinket from Sunken Temple you get that does that, I think, maybe? I want to say that might be the case. Sure are a lot of dwarves on this highway. I think this is the last of them, at least to the left. We might find more to the right. Dragon's Breath would reach from here. I wonder why I'm not using it. There it is. Must have just not been watching its cooldown. Alright, Baelgar. There he is. Pretty good time to precast Pyroblast. I could have been slightly earlier in theory, but that was fairly ideal. Got that combustion up. Whoops. That wasn't particularly optimal. Yep, and Rune of Power and Combustion both already gone. They're so short. But I just want to try to optimize to get as many fireballs and pyroblasts while they're up as I can. There's a lot of theory about like how exactly to do that, so you know, I'll do a one fireball while the thing I'm fighting is above 90% health, so my fire starter goes off. Maybe even do a second one to get the hot streak going first. Let's see, I guess then you Rune of Power, then Combustion, then throw a Pyroblast, consuming the hot streak, putting you into heating up. So then Fire Blast number 1, Pyroblast, Fire Blast number 2, Pyroblast, Fire Blast number 3 once I have it, Pyroblast, and then I think usually I have time for one more Fireball and Pyroblast before Combustion expires. So how many is that? Like 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 or 6. Something like that. Alright, other side of the highway. So yeah, that big door in the distance. If you close it with the big gear in there, you can't reopen it. So you lose access to this part of the dungeon from this side, but it can be accessed from a different angle. You just kind of have to go around. And through a lot more of the dungeon. Trying to time a pyroblast so it goes off right then. Pretty good. So as long as this has gone on, this is like... We haven't even done half of the dungeon yet. A full clear of this place at, you know, at a level where it's a challenge. It'd be probably like an hour and a half at this pace or so. It'd be a big one. Yeah, so Lord Incendius is in here, as is Phineas Darkvire. Oh, interesting, right, so those are the only actual... So if you wanted to just go for the quickest clear with no optional objectives, you'd go left at the start, through the 2 gates, turn right on the highway, ignoring Baelgar, already having gone by the way you would go to get to Higher Interrogator Grstan, and the Ring of the Law and everything. Continue along here till you get to Lord Incendius, go just a little bit past for Phineas Darkvire, and then you're done. So yeah, this could be extremely quick if you just wanted to get, you know, the satchel for having randomed into this dungeon, if that was your goal. That's not my goal when I come into a dungeon, though. The gear is not the reward. Running the dungeon is the reward for running the dungeon. The experience of being here and doing the activity. Looks like I'm doing some reputation management. So each of the Horde factions, the 6 basic ones, have a tabard associated with them. Seeing my reputation with Silvermoon City increased by 15, now it's switched to Thunderbluff. So whenever I'm in a dungeon, I get a few points for that. Getting those up to Revered opens up the possibility of getting, buying a 16-slot bag from them, which is why I'm bothering to do it. Just so I'll have a little more storage space. You can buy giant bags on the auction house made by people with a high-level tailoring skill, but I choose not to. I do things differently. I guess I have kind of like a an arbitrary self-imposed challenge that I will only use bags of that capacity when I can make them with my own tailoring skill. So until then I look for little upgrades like the faction bags. I don't know why I don't like to use the auction house, I just don't. I prefer to be self-sufficient. I want a whole roster of characters with their own professions that can do everything that I need. Sure is nice that fire works on this dude. I don't have to switch to frost to do any damage there. So let's see. Fun time I had when I tried to run Molten Core solo as a max level mage back when max level was 85. I got there and realized that none of my fire abilities were working on anybody there, because back in those days elemental strengths and immunities and stuff were a thing. They're kinda not anymore, but they were, and most things in Molten Core are immune to fire. So right there in the middle of soloing an old raid instance, that was still a significant challenge at level 85 back then. It wouldn't be now with the way that scaling works, but anyway. Right then and there, in that dungeon, I had to switch to a brand new Frost specialization that I had no idea how to play, and learn that way. It was actually a pretty good way to learn, and was a lot of fun. So that was the environment in which I learned to play a Frost Mage. But I haven't done it in a long time, so I've forgotten everything about it. I know you cast Frost Bolts. I know you can have a Water Elemental as a pet, or choose not to. That's pretty much all I remember. I'm sure there are more buttons than those two, but I don't know what they are anymore. And they've probably changed. Then again, the way fire works here, I don't think has changed enormously from how I remember it. I think, what's my number 5 skill called? Flame Strike. I think that one changed at least somewhat. At the very least, the visual effect is very different. I'm not sure how much the mechanic is different, but it looks a lot different and sounds different from how it used to. It's a lot more satisfying to cast now. But yeah, I mean, I had Dragon's Breath back then. I had Fireball, Fire Blast, Pyre Blast, Scorch. All the same things. Combustion, I think. I want to say Combustion might have been longer. And I don't remember Rune of Power at all. That one might be new, or might be something that I just didn't opt into at the time. But for the most part, this is how I remember Fire Mage being. Alright, Phineas Darkfire. Officially last dude in Detention Block. We took a circuitous route, but even though somebody wanted to do the Grim Guzzler early on, everybody's kind of done at this point because that took so long. So yeah, that was as far as we went. Alright, so I guess we only kind of did extra stuff on the way to, to the actual prescribed goal here. I don't think I'm ready to go to another dungeon at this point. I need to turn in quests. I took my time doing that. Because I wasn't sure if people would be moving on in the dungeon or staying and doing more. Somebody canceled the roll check. So at this point, I'm just turning the stuff in and leaving the party, I think. Yep. All done. Alright, cool. See you next time.